Hello and welcome to an episode of My Story. My name is John and today we're going to be talking about Ultimate Exorcist Kiyoshi and what it's all about. So let's exercise those demons and get right into it. The story starts off with our main protagonist Kyoshi exorcising a demon from a young lady. It is then told of us that his family was also killed by demons. Therefore now his mission is to become one of the strongest exorcists and kill all the demons, or exorcise all the demons, pretty much. In terms of the characters themselves, we could say Kyoshi Harai, he is the main protagonist, is very strong already in the story, being considered 2 levels away from the max level. He also has moments of comic relief, so he can seem to be this funny type of character, but still gets the job done, no matter the situation. Our secondary main character is known as Tenma Sakaki, who is seen to be this mentor to Kyoshi and saved him as a child when his parents were murdered by those demons. He was once considered a cross paladin, but is now working as a Grand Cross exorcist. Other than those 2 characters, most of the other characters come in and out depending on the arc and location of the story. That being said, these characters seem to be very hollow and lack any form of substance. We don't know much of their desires or their powers in a sense, and so it makes this character very weak or not really interesting in the story, and they make it more clunky and slow because you're dealing with the character you have no investment in. The power system as well is also poorly explained in the story. There is considered to be this tier list where the powers are from 4, 3, 2, 1, Grand Cross, and then Cross Paladin, and this tier scale list is what defines the power level of a character. And in order to get to these higher levels, you have to go through this vetting process of a test or some form of exercise to show that you're on the level of that tier section. And if you are considered to be the Paladin Cross, where in the story they say there's only 5 Paladin Cross characters, these characters are considered to be on the level of this Demon Lord type of level, this very, very, very high level. But other than that, there isn't much explanation to how you acquire or manifest these abilities. It just feels like whenever Kyoshi is using his powers, or whenever Tenma or some of these other characters just go bang, say some words, and then boom, the villain is gone, or the other character that the person is fighting or trying to defeat without any issues or problems, making the story feel very, very relaxed and not really any stakes. The story itself is also paced very poorly. It feels like things are just happening very quickly. We go through one arc and then 2 chapters later the arc is finished. We, for example, meet a new character and then that character becomes one of the friends of Kyoshi. And therefore, this character, we didn't get a lot of depth or weight to what they can do or who they are as characters. And then they become some form of comic relief and just disappear for like 10 chapters, and they come back again and we're like, oh, you're back again, congratulations, wow, thank you for coming. You know, it doesn't feel like they have any value to the story. They're just there to be there, and the arcs themselves don't really have any weight or value or feeling to them. They just feel like parts of a story that are just being told, and we're just going through it. Like, you have to get from point A to point B, and you got to do this thing to get rid of this character, and then once you've done that, bam, it's done, it's finished. We've finished the story, you know, or that arc. So it doesn't really feel very interesting. And another issue that the story is suffering from is that Kyoshi already seems very strong, and once they're past a certain arc, he gets to a point where he's 1 level away from being a Paladin Cross, which means that he feels like the character Kirito from Sword Art Online, where he's just this Mary Sue character where every single time there's a problem, just get rid of it, done, finished. He never loses. Or he's like from Dragon Ball Z Goku, he just can never lose, you know? So his character does not feel very interesting to continue on following. Like in the case of Naruto, we start with this character who's very weak, can't do a lot of fighting, and we get to the point where at the end he's the Hokage and he can do these real cool abilities, where Kyoshi already can do these things at the start of the story at this point. So we're not really following much of his ability of transforming as a character because he's nearly there, and we already know every single battle he has, for the most part, he's going to win. And even if he doesn't win, he's not going to take much damage. And so I feel the story is really suffering from the writer just being very quick and rushing through certain parts of the story, not giving us enough time to breathe, understand the character, their motives, their wants, desires, who they are, history, and now we're at a point where we've got lots of characters with not a lot of information about their backstory, foreshadowing what they are going to be and why they are part of this story. And now we're stuck where we're just having to get through it very quickly, and we don't have a real understanding of what we're dealing with, just a big cluttered mess. I will say though, for the action scenes in the story, they are very well done. Very, very good. I may not understand their powering system, but they are very beautiful to read. I will conclude that Ultimate Exorcist Kiyoshi does have good picture quality, so the drawings and the way it looks is very beautiful, but that is one of its only redeeming qualities, as well as its fights are very beautiful regardless if I understand what's going on with their ability structure. The fighting quality is very good, but out of those two things, it feels like a typical shonen, but it lacks that ability to grip you with a good story. It's more of a just turn your brain off, you read it, wow, that was cool, and then it's finished. And so I like to hopefully this manga, as it continues on going, that it improves its quality of its characters and its arcs are given more time to breathe. If these two things can be done effectively, I think this will become a very good story. But right now, it's in its growing phase where it's still trying to figure out what it is, and it may be a problem going forward if these problems are not addressed early on. But look, that's my take. I want to hear what you have to say about Ultimate Exorcist Kiyoshi in the comment section below. And do you think what I said was correct? Until the next mono story, this has been John. If you haven't already liked, subscribed, and pressed the bell button, please do so, and I will see you on another mono story.